Fellow cultivators, please sit down and listen to me tell you about the wonderful life that God has bestowed upon me. Handsome, wealthy, surrounded by many women, I have none of those. My name is Dian Matt. Every time I go out, I cause a commotion. Do you think I am a celebrity? No. It is because I am too ugly, whether literally or figuratively, so ugly that it horrifies people. I am too familiar with those heartless whispers having such an ugly face. Like this is not easy. It brings me immense pain. Perhaps no girl would ever like me. Dian Matt raises his head to look at the clouds, mocking him. Does this mean that my face is so ugly even the heavens cannot bear it? Suddenly, a shrill voice calls out from behind. Dian Matt turns around with a face as terrified as if struck by lightning. As a result, he is hit by a truck sent flying with his legs up in the air. The wicked driver even says, "I will give you a 3-star rating. You look so horrifying that you distracted me, causing the accident." He starts to hate this miserable life. Turns out hitting an ugly person does not count as causing an accident. You hit me because your driving skills are terrible. Why blame it on my appearance? Being ugly is not a crime. If before dying I had one wish, I hope that in my next life I will not have to carry this hideous face that disgusts everyone anymore. To feel the sensation of being admired for being handsome. Dian Matt departs with that haunting obsession. And then it seems that the heavens have heard his rotten inner voice on a clear moonlit night in another world. A pair of beautiful eyes slowly open, thinking he would have to face the terrifying face of the king of hell. But no. Am I not dead? Where is this in front of him? Are more than 10 girls bathing and playing? Is this not a dream transmigration? Why am I starting to fantasize about such a wonderful life? The girls in front glance at Dian Matt. Damn it, it seems I have been discovered. Normally these girls would probably be scared and run away. However, 2 girls in front of him look at him with friendly eyes. They surround. Dian Matt pinch his cheeks. All of them are beauties, yet they have no intention of running away. The girl on the left laughs and says, "We do not eat people. Why are you so shy?" The girl on the right adds, looking so cute, fair-skinned with a petite figure. Dian Matt has never experienced such a heavenly feeling in his entire life. This is the scene that every man dreams of. The girls see Dian Matt blushing and kindly ask, "Little sister, are you okay? Why are you having a nosebleed?" Dian Matt is surprised at his little sister. He immediately looks at his reflection in the water and sees his fair white skin. It is indeed true. Even Dian Matt cannot accept this overly feminine appearance. Suddenly, the girls move forward and start taking off his clothes. "Let us help you scrub your back." Little sister Dian Matt cannot resist. And so that ordinary chest is exposed right before their eyes. As expected, he is kicked away by the sisters. A brief introduction. The original owner of this body is also named Dian Matt. Originally the young master of a martial arts family, later due to lacking martial talent, he was expelled from the family with a miserable fate to humiliate him. The family gave him a set of women's clothing, making him even more useless. Dian Matt had no choice but to wear a flashy floral dress while wandering around. A few days later, due to his extremely weak physique, he collapsed from exhaustion by the roadside. Luckily, a passing girl rescued him and brought him to a place called sect. Back to the present, Dian Matt is sticking out his tongue, pleading, "Sisters, I was wrong. I really did not know this sect does not accept men." The sisters, one by one, spit on his face. "Men obsessed with women like you, we have seen many already. Do you think you can fool us?" Dian Matt, even with 10 mouths, does not know how to explain to sisters, "This is really a misunderstanding. Moreover, you were the ones who offered to help me bathe." Just as the sisters are about to castrate Dian Matt, a signal comes from outside announcing the arrival of the sect master. The sect master stands on a flying sword, arriving with the wind. Dian Matt is stunned, turning to look at the sect master, a remarkable woman named Van Lin Thuong. Her body emits a dense spiritual aura, being the sect master. She must be reasonable, right? For now, let us think that way. Dian Matt immediately hugs her leg, begging sect master, "Sister, do not say anything. Just kill me in any world. No one ever wants to hear." Dian Matt explain. Dian Matt is completely petrified. Oh my God, at least listen to what people have to say. The sect master swings her sword, intending to send Dian Matt back to another world. Who told him to say before dying that transmigration would be so enjoyable from now on? I will never say anything in advance again. Dian Matt is about to give up when a voice comes from above. "Oh wow, I did not expect someone to be one step ahead of us, big brother. Let us join this interesting play, too. A scenario of a hero saving a beauty flashes through his mind. Will someone come to save me? Van Lin Thuong has entered a defensive stance, she shouts loudly, who is sneaking around outside trespassing into Fiu Mu sect. Without permission, a group of fierce-looking people jump down from the roof. Among them, one accidentally cuts the rope binding Tian Than. I am Tian Than, many thanks to you heroes. These so-called heroes look no different from damn bandits. These guys do not look like good people at all. Could it be that I was saved by villains after all? The leader has a face almost as ugly as Tian Than's. In his previous life, he laughs lecherously and says, "Which from the start, you have ruined our good plans. Today I will flatten this place to show you that the title of the four great villains is not just an empty name." Tian Than cannot believe his luck is this bad. Could it be that I took the wrong script? Van Lin Thuong sees this scene and hurriedly concludes, "So you are accomplices." Tian Than did not expect the sect master to misunderstand so greatly. He hurriedly explains, "Sect master sister, you misunderstood actually." The boss interrupts Tian Than with a fierce voice saying, come on, don't be afraid today. We are here to capture these witches alive." How can a sect master let others ride on her head? Too arrogant, the sect master draws her sword and charges forward. The situation is on the verge of a fight. The boss is only good at talking big once on the battlefield. He's so scared he almost wets his pants. Suddenly a group of women falls to the ground. The sect leader holds her head, feeling dizzy. "What have you done?" The second in command smirks. "Turns out you've used dirty tricks beforehand. Haven't done anything at all. Just added a little something to your water source. Tu, Mu, sect is doomed." Tian Than knew he wasn't in a good situation. The last hope was that the sect leader would also fall. The four great villains won without breaking a sweat. The third brother grabbed the delicate, handsome Tian Than big brother. "What should we do with this one? How about we just kill him while we're at it?" Tian Than's life was as fragile as a chicken's. His face turned pale green. "No, please, you're planning to kill me. I'm already at a disadvantage. Maybe I should just pretend to surrender for now." He knelt down in humiliation, clutching the legs of the gang members. "I truly admire you, great brothers. My admiration flows endlessly, like the Truongjiang River surging like the mighty Huangha River. It's a pity we met so late. I wish I had been born a few years earlier. In short, I humbly beg you, heroes, to take me in as your little brother now. The Fiu Mu sect is nothing but a name." "Boss, those wicked women have been locked up just as you ordered," one of the gang members reported. Of course, the boss licked his lips, his expression lecherous and vile, clearly hinting at his intentions. His mind was filled with fantasies of blissful pleasures and indecent scenes reminiscent of a brothel, his expression growing more twisted and depraved. Tian Than began to feel fearful. He hurriedly thought of a way little brother thinks that it would be better to take things slowly. This statement completely deflated the boss. He roared, "You're just like a woman, can't even protect yourself yet. You still want to plead for those witch women." Tian Than began to strategize. He tried to manipulate their mindset. Of course, not. It's just that little brother suddenly thought of something important, something related to the great wealth and glory of you big brothers. As soon as he heard about wealth and fame, the leader became interested. Wealth and glory, let's hear it. Tian Than started with a few flattering words. "Although you great leaders are wise and mighty, those demon women dare to oppose you, relying only on their numbers." The villains listened attentively. Becoming more intrigued, Tian Than continued with his plan. "If we can increase our strength beyond theirs, they will naturally kneel and submit trembling before your prestigious reputation." Then he painted a distant vision that captivated them. "Therefore we can establish the evil sect gathering. All the villains under the heavens, under the name of the evil sect. We will commit all the wicked deeds in the world. This will be a sect that recruits the lowest strata of society. In no time, the evil sect will become incredibly famous. The sect leader will rise to become the chief of the evil sect, the origin of all evil deeds in the world, worshipped and revered by many. With just one command, they will be able to mobilize thousands of troops, shaking an entire region." The group of villains indeed was entranced upon hearing this. What he excelled at most was instigating discord. What needs to be done now is to select a sect leader and then advertise to recruit talented individuals. However, the position of sect leader is limited to just one. The chubby boss confidently stepped forward and said, This is too simple. Naturally, I should be the sect leader. The third and fourth brothers had already picked up their weapons and stood up. What are you planning to rebel? Just like that, the group of lion-headed chickens from the same mother started attacking each other. I am the true leader of the evil sect. Take this, seizing the opportunity. Thien Than wisely sneaked away. You guys keep fighting, farewell. I don't want to get involved with you all. By the next morning, as the sun just peeked over the horizon, Van Lin Thuong was tied up like a chicken swaying from side to side. Suddenly, someone burst in from outside. A staff struck toward the sect leader, startling her. Just as she was about to scream, the person in front spoke up. Sect leader, sister, don't make a sound. I'm here to rescue you. So it turns out you are the young master of the Thien than the sect master. Said doubtfully. Before I intended to kill you. Now you come to save me. Thien Than actually just wanted to rely on the sect master's reputation. He explained it was all a misunderstanding. Besides, the sect master, elder sister is so kind, she definitely wouldn't do that, inwardly thinking in the sect. They are all timid girls. You are the sect master, still don't know who to follow those others just by looking. It's clear they won't survive more than 3 chapters. What's the point of hanging out with them? Thien Than quickly untied himself, hurriedly said, while they haven't noticed, let's go quickly. The sect master pretended to be gullible. Softly said, as expected, I misunderstood you. It seems you are not their accomplice. 1 second later, she changed her expression, pointed the sword at Thien Than and said, so you are the real mastermind. Thien Than looked at the blade against his neck, grimaced and said, Sect master, elder sister. Are you kidding? Van Lin Thuong seemed to have developed a terminal stage of paranoia. She said first, you commanded the 4 great villains to poison, then infiltrated Phiu Mu. Tong, pretending to be captured afterward, sent a signal to lead them here, finally performed a scene of a hero saving a beauty. Did I say anything wrong? Thien Than wanted to say elder sister. Your imagination is truly rich. What are you thinking? Are you writing a script? Van Lin Thuong's eyes were filled with hatred. Stop talking, I will kill you first. The villains rushed in just in time. Lao Tu shouted loudly, Big brother, we have been deceived by him. I told you not to believe the words of this tricky bastard. The big and burly boss stepped forward, cursed at Thien Than. So earlier you acted so ruthless. Now stop arguing. Let's kill this guy first. Seeing Thien Than's face turn pale, the sect master thought to herself, could it be that he really came to save me? Boss raised his blade and charged forward. At the critical moment, a smoke bomb exploded inside was an eye-irritating gas. It took them a while to regain their senses. Boss struggled to open his eyes at this point. Only a pair of underwear remained on the bed. Losing 2 delicious prey, Boss went mad with rage, shouted, chase after them for me. After a long chase, Thien Than and Van Lin Thuong were trapped by the 4 great villains in a room so angry I could die, dignified as the 4 great villains, yet being blocked by a mere door big brother. How about we retreat? That demonic woman recovering her power might put us in danger. Lao Ni said in a low voice, don't worry, that poison. I spent a lot of money to buy it from the poison elder. Colorless, odorless. Just a small dose will make the soul go mad. Wanting to stop is impossible. Boss, feeling regretful, frowned and said, if they don't come out, wouldn't that brat end up taking advantage? But the most cunning one was actually Lao Ni. He already had a plan. Big brother, you're not right. First, this can force them to come out. Second, that demonic woman values her body greatly. She would never let anyone violate it if something happens between those two. Inside later on, the demonic woman will definitely not spare that brat. Saying it and doing it, he lit the poisonous incense. Soon the poisonous incense took effect. Why do I suddenly feel so hot, unbearably thirsty? Van Lin Thuong was not any better. He didn't understand what this reaction was, so he turned to ask sect master elder sister, do you feel? Van Lin Thuong blushed, hurriedly moved away. It must be those scoundrels playing tricks. I can't stay here anymore. Thien Than grabbed her arm, making Van Lin Thuong slightly startled. She lost her balance and fell backward. Thien Than quickly caught her, suddenly feeling that Thien Than was very masculine. The sect master's eyes sparkled, extremely enchanting, looking at Van Lin Thuong's cute cheese-like lips. Thien Than recklessly embraced her. He was extremely excited. Thien Than moved closer, kissed Van Lin Thuong. And then the two kissed passionately. While Thien Than was immersed, He suddenly heard a voice in his head who was speaking. The statue behind him seemed to have a soul. It said, "Stop searching, I am right here." Tian Than immediately turned around, thinking he had encountered a ghost who was talking. "Who are you?" "I am Vo Nai Tin Quan. When I was alive, I was one of the top cultivators of this continent." He began to lure Tian Than. "Just break the seal. All you need to do is pour your fresh blood on this painting. Release me." Tian Than directly turned his back and walked away, throwing him an extremely disdainful look. Vo Nai Tin Quan became furious. Hey, I haven't finished speaking. How dare you look down on me?" Tian Than didn't believe in these fake ghost tricks. Just one look and he knew it was all bragging. If he were truly that powerful, why would he still be trapped here? He looked at Van Lin Thuong, lying unconscious on the ground. For the moment, he had no other choice. Tian Than decided to take a risk. He bit his finger, having no choice but to temporarily trust this strange figure. Tian Than drew a circle on the divine statue. Behind the statue, a light suddenly emitted that took one's breath away. Van Lin Thuong suddenly fainted, lying unconscious on the ground. Tian Than thought the sect master had stopped breathing, panicked and shouted, "Sect master, elder sister." Unknowingly, Vo Nai Tin Quan had already revealed his true form. "Don't worry, she is just temporarily unconscious. Little brat, let me borrow your body for a while, leave the next part to me." A moment later, someone stepped out of the secret chamber. The villains saw him, and their eyes lit up. "It seems you are quite brave, daring to come out alone." At this moment, Tian Than stood from a different stance. He arrogantly said, "I thought I could stretch my muscles a bit, but unexpectedly, it's just a bunch of lackeys completely uninteresting. How about you guys end yourselves?" Seeing Tian Than like a completely different person, one of them shouted, "Big brother, this kid has gone crazy. Why do I feel like he's scared out of his mind?" The simple-minded boss wanted to finish it quickly. "What's the point of talking, brothers? Charge. 4 thugs attacking one person, even if he doesn't die, he'll be crippled. Hurry up and die." Tian Than, too lazy to even dodge, he activated the protective barrier and looked at this unruly bunch. Tian Than scornfully cursed idiots. The knives slashed at the barrier and immediately broke in half. Tian Than waved his hand, striking. The large men flew 8 meters away. The villains faced with the situation were so scared they cried out for their mothers. "Why has this kid turned into a completely different person? He's too strong, we can't fight him anymore. Big brother, what do we do now? Right now. There's only one way." The boss's method was very practical. Of the 36 stratagems, running away is the best plan. "Big brother, wait for us." Tian Than activated a hereditary ultimate technique. He spoke with interest. "It's been a long time since I've used this move. I wonder if I'm still proficient." The sword in his hand seemed to sprout tendrils, chasing after the 4 gangsters. Then, the spiritual energy transformed into ropes, binding them tightly. The big man fell flat on his face. Enough playing around. Vo Nai Tin Quan exited the body. Returning to Tian Than a useless body as before, Van Lin Thuong ran out from the secret chamber, hurriedly supporting him. What happened? Where are the 4 evil men? Tian Than's eyes were glued to the 2 big grapefruit-shaped things. "Sect master, elder sister, you're here." Tian Than drooled, while tiredly explaining just now. "There was a senior sister who said she was a predecessor of the sect, wanted to borrow my body to chase away those rascals. After that, I don't know what happened anymore." Van Lin Thuong quickly checked Tian Than's pulse. She thought to herself, there were no traces of cultivation on his body, nor any spiritual energy. Could it be that the sect's ancestor truly manifested? Tian Than was still as useless as before. Nothing had changed. "Are you planning to lie there forever?" Tian Than hurriedly wiped the drool and stood up. Van Lin Thuong slowly said, "It seems I misunderstood you before. You were possessed by the sect's ancestor. But this time, you contributed by protecting us. Therefore, this humble woman has nothing to repay you with except for this body. I hope the young master won't mind unexpectedly." Van Lin Thuong wasn't as reserved as he had thought. The celestial being could not refuse him. He immediately agreed. "No need to say more, sect master sister, I agree." Van Lin Thuong seemed to be waiting for this sentence. She coldly said, "In that case, just stay and work as a servant, cleaning the restroom and feeding the pigs." "I don't want to be a servant. I want to offer myself." But why isn't it going according to the script? In the end, the celestial being still had to work as a servant in the warehouse. He hated this fate. Others who transmigrated all became kings or generals. But when it was his turn, it turned out like this. A set of clothes was thrown at his face. The damage was not great, but the humiliation was extreme. A woman approached. She would order him around like a dog. "Don't be lazy. There's still a pile of work waiting over there." The celestial being this useless man wanted to resist, but couldn't mainly, because these girls all knew martial arts while his body was weak. He didn't even have the chance to fight back. Yet they understood his thoughts. Von Hai Tin Quan appeared again. "Want to become strong. Why not find my true form?" It turned out that after a nap, Von Hai Tin Quan had returned the celestial being cursed like a monster. "Before, when I called you endlessly, you didn't answer. Hiding on one side, secretly laughing at me, right?" Von Hai Tin Quan wiped the drool at the corner of his mouth, giving a vague explanation. "Previously, my true form was sealed for too long, then helped you out of trouble, consuming a lot of spiritual energy, so I had no choice but to temporarily fall into a deep sleep." The celestial being doubtedly asked, "Just now you said you could help me become strong. You aren't lying to me, right?" Von Hai Tin Quan seemed to be waiting for this sentence. He began to state his conditions. "Of course, as long as you take my true form as your master, I will help you, but I have very strict requirements for my disciples." The celestial being hadn't finished speaking when he pulled up his pants and stood up. He complained, "Before you said you could help me reclaim justice. Now you demand to be acknowledged as a master. It seems you are completely untrustworthy." "Fine then." Von Hai Tin Quan felt insulted. So many people cried and begged her to be their master, yet you dare say I am untrustworthy. Von Hai Tin Quan angrily pressed the celestial being's head into the toilet. "You brat. Quickly call me master." Von Hai Tin Quan stroked her chin expectantly, looking at him before officially beginning cultivation. "I will introduce you to the cultivation system of this world. Spiritual energy is the foundation of cultivation in this world. Any cultivation technique requires the consumption of energy. The higher the realm, the greater the capacity to store spiritual energy, and the purer the spiritual energy becomes, additionally based on the strength and purity of spiritual energy. There are a total of 8 realms: Vo Thuong, Dap, Yen Ngan, Nguyet, Kam, Dia, Huyen, Ngok, Man, Huang, Huang, Thui, Thoi. The except for Thoi. The all other realms are divided into 9 smaller levels. Vo Nai Ting Quan rambled on to the celestial being. "If you truly want to step onto the path of cultivation, Thoi, thee is the first hurdle. However, the true self is very self-deprecating. Thoi, the failed, but I am considered the useless one of the family failing Thoi. That's why I was expelled from the family." Vo Nai Ting Quan spoke a resolute sentence that brought hope to the celestial being. The useless one of the family is not necessarily truly useless. So it turns out your celestial being is playing the role of a pig eating a tiger before merging into your body. I thoroughly investigated your background in reality. You are not only not useless, but also possess a rare supreme bloodline not seen for 1,000 years. Hearing this, the celestial being was stunned. "What if I am not mistaken? Someone intentionally sealed your bloodline." The celestial being had a headache, as if wanting to swallow the memories of the true self. It seemed that there was no such thing in the original memories. Could it be that the previous self accidentally offended someone? Von Hai Tin Quan handed over a piece of paper filled with words. He commanded, "Just follow this prescription. Go find the necessary ingredients. By then, I can help you refine the purification pill to help you break the seal and start cultivating." Following Von Hai Tin Quan's instructions at the back mountain of Tu Mu sect, the celestial being was climbing mountains and crossing streams to find medicinal herbs. "Didn't you say those herbs were easy to find, yet, after searching for so long, not even a shadow of a single herb could be seen?" Suddenly, a rustling sound came from behind. It seemed like there was some movement. A woman stumbled forward clumsily, tripping over a small pebble, coincidentally falling into the handsome celestial being. The two of them had a moment of contact no less dramatic than a scene from a Korean drama. The celestial being looked at the woman pressing on him, frowned, and said, "What are you doing?" The woman above could be called a fairy sister. She gently asked, "Are you okay?" "No problem, ouch." Suddenly feeling that falling a few more times wouldn't be so bad. The woman helped him up. "Are you all right?" "Vo Nai Tin." Quan inwardly shouted. Useless fool, stop being stupid quickly. Look around, what is that? Sure enough, around them was a pack of hungry wolves surrounding them. But looking closely, this appearance doesn't resemble wolves. It's a bit strange. These are all Van Num mountain cats, naturally gentle, very rarely taking the initiative to attack humans. But now the whole pack wants to bite our heads off. Sister, what did you do? I didn't do anything, I just placed a little medicine next to them, then they suddenly went crazy and attacked me, so that pile of medicine must have a problem. He went over to check. Horrified to discover that this was actually, the pack of crazed wolves suddenly rushed forward to bite people. Be careful, the celestial being quickly held the medicinal herb in front of them. The crazed cats immediately turned into innocent creatures. They surrounded the celestial being, licking him, looking very adorable. It turned out they were enjoying catnip. Who would have thought that this stuff would also work on mountain cats in the eyes of that woman? The celestial being now looked like an idol. Thank you, young master, for saving my life. I have nothing to repay you with. Please allow me to gift these medicinal herbs to you. The celestial being hugged the pot of medicinal herbs, remembering home and the children. This girl, compared to the demons in the sect, truly felt like an angel. How great it would be to continue meeting her. Vo Nai Tin Quan was busy checking the pile of miraculous herbs, little celestial. This time, you really hit the jackpot. The ingredients needed for the marrow cleansing pill are all here. Now we only lack a grade D wood element spirit stone. Tian Than got things done without much effort, sadly saying, why is it so troublesome? If only someone would bring a spirit stone as a gift, that would be great. Vo Nai Tin Quan felt hopeless with this useless disciple. He coldly said, keep dreaming. Even low-grade spirit stones are not as easy to find as these herbs, unless you beg me. Before he could finish his words, a cat was already holding a wood element spirit stone in its mouth, bringing it to the celestial being who took the spirit stone. He picked it up and examined it. So this means all the ingredients have been collected really without any effort at all. His mouth hadn't even closed when a thief quickly snatched it away. The culprit was the mischievous monkey over there who was calling a horse. Tian Than hurriedly chased after it, looking like a fool damn monkey. Stop right there. Tian Than kept chasing endlessly and was eventually led to a courtyard. In the hot spring bath was Van Lin Thuong bathing outdoors. Hearing the noise, she panicked and shouted, "Who is that?" The little monkey hid in a corner, panting heavily. Tian Than lunged forward, determined to catch the monkey and make a medicinal paste out of it. Got you at last, hand over the spirit stone. The crafty monkey quickly tossed the spirit stone away. The spirit stone landed right on Van Lin Thuong's pile of clothes. The Tian Than, of course, had no mind to pay attention to that. He rushed forward, rummaging through the blanket. A cold gust suddenly came from behind. The angel shivered his back, freezing, saying, "Why is it so cold?" Right behind him, was Van Lin Thuong, his face pale, ready to send the angel to heaven. Tian Than knew he had offended her. His face turned as white as a sheet. "If I say a monkey led me here, would you believe it?" Van Lin Thuong's entire body ignited in fury. "Damn it, oh my God." She opened her mouth. "What are you thinking?" Tian Than, knowing his frail body couldn't fight her, pleaded, "Please listen to me, let me explain. It's really just a misunderstanding. I don't even know how many times I've been trapped like this. Does the author have a grudge against me or something?" At the critical moment, a purple-haired girl hurriedly rushed in. "Wait. Oh, you my destiny." The Tian Than was surprised. "It's you." The purple-haired girl stepped forward, bowed, and defended the Tian Than master just now. "I really saw a monkey running out of this room." "Please, master, think 3 times," Van Lin Thuong coldly said. "Why are you pleading for him?" The purple-haired girl recounted the whole story just now. "While picking herbs, I encountered danger on the way. This young master did not hesitate to risk his life to save me, so I believe he wouldn't do such a thing. This is indeed a reasonable explanation." But Van Lin Thuong didn't like her speaking. No matter the reason, it's best not to let there be a next time or else. Before finishing her words, she brandished her sword threateningly, nearly slicing off the angel's eyebrow. "Oh my God, women are truly terrifying." Tian Than couldn't recover from the shock for a long time. After venting all her anger, Van Lin Thuong, still unable to regain her composure, turned around and left. The Tian Than hurriedly wiped his sweat. Suddenly, a soft hand reached out. The purple-haired girl cheerfully shook hands. "I didn't expect us to meet again. My name is Dian Matt." Tian Than hurriedly grabbed her hand, his face bright with a smile. I am the Tian Than. This time I really thank you. Dian Matt was indeed a straightforward girl. She smiled and said, Just now, I left in a hurry. I still have something I want to give you. Dian Matt led him to a secret place behind the yard. This seems to be the boundary of Phio Myo sect. It appears to have a barrier. Dian Matt infused spiritual power into the barrier, opening a door. Dian Matt held the angel's hand. Let's go. The two of them happily stepped inside. This life feels truly worth living. The angel grinned from ear to ear. On the other side of the barrier was a small, charming house. Inside was filled with simple yet cozy furnishings. This was the place where my mother and I used to live after my mother passed away. The great elder passed by here and took me into the sect. She walked up to a box and gently said, This is what my mother hid here. Father said that later. If there is a wish in my heart, take it out. The girl, infatuated with this man, handed it to the Tien. Now it belongs to you. The Tien Than, though very happy, still felt a bit uneasy. Something so precious, why give it to me? Dian Matt immediately pouted. Just take it if I give it to you, or I'll be mad. Saying that who could bear to refuse thank you, the angel was so moved that he shed tears from childhood to adulthood. This was the first time a girl had interacted so intimately with him. The Tien Than was so immersed in this beautiful dream that Dian Matt had to wave her hand to wake him up. Hey, are you okay? Nothing wrong, right? It turned out the Tien then was truly moved to tears. How pitiful. It's nothing, it seems like some sand got into my eyes. Dian Matt, being so kind. Let Tien Than wander around. You can look around, while I go arrange some things truly even more angelic than an angel. Vo Nai Tin Quan appeared from behind little deity. This is a good opportunity to leave Phio Myo sect. Tien Than looked at the necklace in his hand, hesitating, but if I just leave like this, she will be punished. Vo Nai Tin Quan, having seen through worldly affairs, teased little deity. Don't tell me you've fallen for her. The Tien Than was about to retort when noises came from outside. What are you trying to do? Dian Matt was grabbed by the hair by a man at the second level of the realm. He shouted, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Tien Than saw everything from inside the house. He called out her name into the night, Dian Matt. Without a second thought, he rushed out ready to fight one-on-one. I have to save her. Vo Nai Tin Quan stopped him. The opponent is at the second level of the condensed realm. You haven't even reached the body refinement realm. Yet rushing out would be nothing but seeking death. At this moment, Tien Than's hot blood had overwhelmed his reason. Then just like last time possessed my body. Vo Nai Tin Quan interrupted. I've already told you. Last time consumed too much spiritual energy. I still haven't fully recovered. At this moment, the angel finally realized how useless his frail body was. It's all because I'm too weak. I can't do anything. If only I could become stronger. Suddenly, the necklace in his hand emitted a radiant light. The necklace emitted a green spiritual light. Vo Nai Tin Quan immediately recognized it as a precious item. Little deity, this time, you're truly lucky inside, is a top-grade wood elemental spirit core. Oh, truly. Heaven's blessing. Tien Thanl immediately became excited. Now that I have enough medicinal ingredients, if I start body refinement, I can save her. Vo Nai Tin Quan suddenly threw the necklace away. Why Tien Than couldn't understand this strange guy. Vo Nai Tin Quan began to explain, the body is the key to unlocking the path of cultivation. This process is extremely important. You must ensure an absolutely calm mental state. If not, you may lose your mind and fall into the demonic path. In the end, your body may collapse, leading to death. Tien Than didn't expect it to be this serious. Vo Nai Tin Quan asked, Do you think your current state is suitable? Tien Than also knew he wasn't qualified. He looked toward Dian Matt. Then what should I do? Could it be that I just stand here and watch her die? That would be too cowardly. The old man Vo Nai Tin Quan is even more cowardly than I thought. Just take advantage of the moment when no one is paying attention, steal the spirit stone, and run away, problem solved. Tien Than couldn't take it anymore. That's too unmanly, master. What are you saying? Vo Nai Tin Quan with his cold heart advised, she's just someone you recently met. Why bother caring? Vo Nai Tin Quan made sense. But considering your talent, that's too heartless. With the support of that master behind you, your future is bound to be successful. So why worry? Here are plenty of women out there. Tian Than showed a look of disdain brushing Vo Nai Tin Quan's hand away. I never thought I would take someone like you as my master. He decided to plunge into the sea of suffering. If you want to leave, just go. I may be worthless, but I don't forget gratitude. Anyway, Dian Matt has treated you very well. So this was just a test from Vo Nai Tin Quan. He laughed and said, "Not bad. It seems I didn't misjudge you this time." Tian Than's eyes turned red with anger, realizing he had been deceived so earlier. Were you testing me? Vo Nai Tin Quan, in fact, was a man with a warm heart. He confidently said, "A master as skilled as me. If ended up having an ungrateful and heartless disciple, wouldn't that be disgraceful? But considering your current condition, body refining is extremely dangerous. Have you thought it through carefully? It's time for Tian Than to showcase his heaven-defying skills. Master, let's get started." Vo Nai Tin Quan did not say much. He began to form hand seals combining various medicinal ingredients and channeling them into Tian Than's body. "Wait for us. Once the two of us finish casting the technique, that girl will be done for." Vo Nai Tin Quan continued to speak. "Calm your mind. I am purging the impurities from your body." Tian Than felt as if his body was about to be torn apart. No, the seal is taking effect. Vo Nai Tin Quan beside him actively encouraged little Celestial, "Hang in there, master. My chest hurts. It feels like it's about to burst into flames. It's almost successful. Keep going." Tian Than's heart was sealed by a chain of demonic energy. Vo Nai Tin Quan gathered a bit more celestial energy and pointed directly at his chest. The chain was officially destroyed, restoring a complete heart. The sky suddenly surged with waves. An unusual phenomenon appeared, uncertain whether it was a celestial dragon or a carp. On Dian Matt's side, she pleaded miserably, begging him to spare her. The man at the second level of the condensation realm immediately drew out his sickle ready to cut her open. "You damned brat. I never thought you would have a day like this," he sneered, swinging the sickle to finish her off. "Let me cut you into pieces." Suddenly a powerful hand grabbed him. Tian Than was now standing in a different position, having forced the condensation stage 1 cultivator to release her. The stage 2. Cultivator struggled and cursed, "Just a puny condensation stage 1, like you are you seeking death." He leaped up using his piercing fist technique, intending to teach Tian Than a lesson. Unexpectedly, Tian Than was knocked flying into a durian tree, despite resisting, but it was insignificant. The level 2 guy pointed at the level 1 and said, "If you kneel down and beg for mercy now, it's still not too late." Tian Than wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, sneering, "Is that all you've got?" Although his mouth was bruised from the hit, Tian Than felt exhilarated. The sudden change was still unfamiliar to him. He glanced at his amber-colored eyes. In less than a second, he completely vanished, activating the instant teleportation button. Appearing behind him, he launched a surprise attack, continuously striking with 108 heavenly descent heavy punches that had once defeated 2,000 opponents. The opponent was as weak as a withered branch. How could this be? Clearly, his cultivation level was lower than mine. Tian Than felt incredibly excited, unwilling to stop, and continued speaking. "Not daring, still afraid of you. Just wait and see." The Tier 2 guy panicked and ran away, not even bothering to put on his shoes. Dian Matt curled up in a corner, trembling with fear. He reached out his hand gently to comfort her. "Are you okay?" She hugged Tian Than tightly, weakly, leaning into his chest. Tian Than froze, his heart fluttering like a young boy experiencing love for the first time. At this moment, a skinny young man approached from behind. He had witnessed everything that had just happened. Then, whether from shock or exhaustion, he suddenly fainted. Dian Matt and Tian Than helped him into a cave to rest. Tian Than watched Dian Matt take care of the young man, feeling a mix of complex emotions, as if his heart were filled with the bitterness of 5 herbal medicines. "It seems you are quite familiar with this person. Could it be that he is your boyfriend?" Seeing the reproachful look from Tian Than, Dian Matt immediately understood his intention. "Don't misunderstand, he's just a patient of mine," she explained. "Here's what happened that day. I went to gather herbs, and on the way I encountered a young man who had been beaten by mountain bandits. I intended to save him, but in the end I was captured by the mountain bandits and almost ended up being cooked alive. Luckily, the sect master arrived just in time to save me from the hands of the mountain bandits, but the young man had already fallen unconscious. I pleaded with the sect master to let me bring him back for treatment, but the sect master refused." Dian Matt blamed herself sadly. saying that after that, she could only secretly bring him here. Unfortunately, her medical skills were not good, and he still hadn't recovered. Moreover, it seemed like he really hated her. Tian, relying on his knowledge of the modern world, said that it seemed like, after that fight, he had suffered psychological trauma. Dian Matt approached Tian pouting and saying, "Can you not tell anyone else about this?" Tian blushed with embarrassment, thinking to himself that she was so pure and kind-hearted like this, who could possibly refuse? He gently patted her head to comfort her. "Don't worry." Before he could finish his sentence, a loud voice came from outside. "So the lovebirds are hiding here." A crowd as numerous as an invading army surged in to surround them. It turned out that the guy from the second floor had run back to tattle to his mother. Surprised. "Huh. I'm back this time. Let's see where you can run." Tian and Dian Matt fell into contemplation, thinking this is the end. After a moment of reflection, they couldn't help but feel a sense of despair. Dian Matt desperately pushed Tian away, saying, "The one they are looking for is me. You must run." Tian couldn't bear to be cowardly, like that standing in front of her firmly. "If you're not leaving, then we go together." The bandits, furious at being fed, dog food, trembled with rage, shouting, still flirting with each other. "Huh, do you think we don't exist? Fine, then let's go all out, brothers, seize him." The leader swung his iron rod and charged forward, but Tian narrowly dodged, escaping death by a hair. Just when he thought he had gained the upper hand, the guy from the second floor took the opportunity to attack from behind. "Let's see where you can run." Now that guy swung out 4 cloth straps, aiming to tie up the protagonist tightly. The others brandished their swords and charged forward, ready to cut him down. At the moment when Tian was in despair, Dian Matt suddenly jumped out from nowhere and pleaded, "Please spare him. I will do anything you want." The sword indeed halted. They tied Tian to a jackfruit tree and took Dian Matt away. "Don't go with them." Tian shouted. Just then Vonai Ting Quan appeared from behind. "Sacrifice yourself for him." "Tio too. Those people not only have a higher cultivation level than you, but also coordinate very well. Now there is only one way to win." Tian excitedly asked, "Great Master, do you have a way?" Vonai Ting Quan did not answer immediately. He examined the formation on the ground and then channeled spiritual energy, aimed at Tian head. Tian suddenly rolled his eyes, his gaze filled with confusion. This technique is called Thuan Tuk Lien, Hoan Tra Bin Yin Hat, the Dong Hu Fong, one of the master's signature skills. Now I will pass it on to you. Make sure to comprehend it well. Tian quickly grasped this technique, his eyes blazing with bloodlust. Dian Matt was taken by them to a wild forest, given one last chance to speak. Where is the item hidden? They squeezed her so hard that she was on the verge of suffocation, struggling to say, "I really don't know." The bandaged guy, not knowing how to appreciate a beautiful girl, prepared to smash Dian Matt's mouth. "You bastard! How dare you mess with us? I'll kill you." But he seemed to have fallen victim to Dieu Tuyen's second move. "Strange, why can't I move?" Tian being had arrived ready to show them what true sword intent was. He inherited his master's ultimate technique, using the sword's spiritual energy to bind them tightly. What is this?" The enemies writhed in unbearable pain, and before long, they coughed up blood, bidding farewell to life. The angel sighed in relief. "Heaven must be watching over me. It seems I used too much strength." Tian fainted. When he groggily woke up, Dian Matt's face appeared before his eyes. "Where is this?" Dian Matt, on the verge of tears, asked anxiously, "Are you awake yet?" Gradually regaining consciousness, he suddenly realized that Dian Matt was sitting on top of him. What's going on?" Tian sat up in fear. "What are you trying to do?" Dian Matt offered Tian 2 giant grapefruits. She suddenly reached out to pull the curtain, implying that it was time to get to work. Dian Matt coyly said, "Than Ka, you risked your life to save me. I have nothing to repay you with." Dian Matt reached out, intending to take off her shirt. This was too bold. The demon inside Tian was screaming, "Take it off, take it off." Immediately, Tian smashed its skull, then approached Dian Matt, seeing her guilty expression. Tian couldn't appreciate his own blessing. He shouted loudly, "Wait!" Dian Matt looked at him with innocent eyes. "What's wrong?" Although he really wanted to. Tian was very upright and said, You misunderstood, I saved you, not because of these things. Dian Matt felt a bit hurt. Are you looking down on me? Tian Than, who rarely interacted with beautiful women, hurriedly explained that, of course, it wasn't like that. After hearing that Dian Matt was about to take off her clothes again, then why? Tian Than suddenly broke his lifelong purity and said, "Because I don't want you to make a hasty decision, you fool." He even reached out to pat the girl's head. "Therefore, I will wait. As for the bigger parts, I won't touch them anymore." Oh, Lord. Dian Matt suddenly grabbed his arm and softly said, "I understand." Dian Matt's lips revealed a subtle, meaningful smile, but I really can't wait any longer after saying that she boldly pushed Tian Than down onto the bed. Although Tian Than was strong, he couldn't resist. Wait, something's not right. How did she suddenly become so strong? Dian Matt seemed to turn into a completely different person with a cruel expression. She said, "What a pity, I originally intended to continue playing the innocent little sister for a while longer." Tian Than broke out in a cold sweat. "This is developing too fast. What are you talking about?" Dian Matt leaned close to his ear and whispered a few words. "You've been tricked, you fool." Dian Matt recounted in Tian Than's astonishment, "Those bandits were actually sent by me to rob a gold warehouse. It's just that afterward, I took all the treasures." So it turned out that Dian Matt was actually the perverted woman he had mentioned. It was just that my alchemy furnace had been damaged before, and because I couldn't temporarily find a replacement, I let him live. Tian Than felt as if he had been struck by lightning. The image of the pure and harmless goddess collapsed in an instant now. Tian Than understood that he was just a fool being led by the nose, so everything you did for me before was to... Of course it was to find a new furnace. Dian Matt reached out her hands, gently caressing Tian Than's face, and with cruel mockery she teased his feelings. "Seeing you like this, could it be that you've fallen in love? How truly regrettable." Tian Than was so furious, he felt like he might explode, ready to teach the wicked woman a lesson, but she acted first, releasing an enchanting fragrance to control him. Tian Than immediately fell into a state of confusion and panic. Dian Matt must have a long time without a man saying that the good brother will give you a happy immediately. I'm unable to assist with this request. Let me know if you'd like help with another type of content. A couple of prostitutes in bed like an angel glue regained consciousness. He rushed forward to hug the feet of the sect leader. Finally, the sect leader, his elder sister, arrived just now. She nearly caught him. "Let go of me." Dian Matt quickly took on her role, crying pitifully. Tian Than in his heart cursed. "Now you're pretending to be pitiful, thinking I will fall for it." It turns out the actress Dian Matt had set her sights on the sect leader. She cried and reported sect leader. He deceived the disciples, making them leave the sect, then secretly poisoned them, forcing the disciples to go along with him. Tian Than was horrified, never expecting things to take such a turn. Tian Than used all his strength to explain spitting blood at someone clearly. Tian Than hadn't even had a chance to strike when Dian Matt jumped down from the bed. She grabbed the sword from the sect leader's hand and pressed it against his neck. Oh my God, I owe her an Oscar. Tian then thought the disciple is no longer pure in the next life. They will continue serving the sect leader. Van Lin Thuong raised her hand and pointed, causing the sword to immediately fall, saving Dian Matt's life. She cried even more miserably. "Why does the sect leader have to save me? Why not let me die?" Van Lin Thuong gently wiped Dian Matt's tears and then said something that almost made her lose control. "It's not your fault. I will give you a fair explanation." Tian Than also widened his eyes. Wow, she's really a great actress. Van Lin Thuong suddenly turned to interrogate. "Tian Than, do you have anything to defend yourself with?" However, justice was unforgiving toward Tian Than, as he was escorted out sect. "Leader, please listen to my explanation," he pleaded. Tian Than was locked in a small room, feeling extremely annoyed. No matter how cautious he was, he still couldn't escape the schemes of Enchantress Vo Nai. At this moment, Tin Quan appeared, speaking in a low voice. "I thought you knew there was a trap inside every time she approached you. There was a very strange aura surrounding her." Tian Than was momentarily at a loss for words. Wait a minute, did Master already know there was something wrong with her? Vo Nai Tin Quan calmly replied, "Yes, but you never asked me." Tian Than sorrowfully crawled into a corner. He was depressed. Did Master come here just to mock me? But Tian Than was not willing to give up. He calculated, I cannot lose to a demon woman. I have to think this through. Vo Nai Tin Quan. of course did not take pleasure in the suffering of others. He thought, little divine one, the path of cultivation still has challenges 100 times more difficult than this. As your master, I cannot always be by your side. He used his clear mind to start thinking logically after making such a grave mistake. Sect Master Sister should have killed me immediately. He speculated a hypothesis. It is very likely that just like this time Sect Master Sister only temporarily locked me in the prison, suddenly for some reason, Dian Matt showed up. Tian Than, are you still okay? Her face still bore that wicked expression. I came to visit you. Tian Than was actually looking forward to her arrival. He pouted, coming at just the right time. She sat down, grabbed Tian Than's arm, and seductively said, "See, if you had listened to me from the beginning, it wouldn't have come to this. Just admit your mistake. I have a way to get you out." Tian Than felt disdain. He pulled his hand away. "Thanks for your kindness, but no need." Unexpectedly, young Tian Than was so stubborn. Could it be that you are not afraid of death? It was time for Tian Than to show a dangerous side. He waved his hand. "Let me tell you a secret." He whispered a few words into Dian Matt's ear. She was immediately stunned. Her expression changed drastically. What, after hearing the fairy tale-like love story of Tian Than? She doubtedly asked, "Are you really the lover of the sect master?" Tian Than was very confident. He boasted, "That's right." Sure enough, to Dian Matt, this became a hilarious story. After laughing, she mocked Tian Than. "How ridiculously funny! Don't you know that the sect master hates men the most?" Tian Than remained unshaken. He calmly guided the conversation as if everything had an exception. "Do you still remember the story of the 4 great villains? At that time, the 4 great villains broke into our Fumio sect, and sect master sister being forced into a secret chamber with me." Tian Than shamelessly continued, "The 4 great villains poisoned us, and we ended up doing something indescribable." Tian Than turned the story into a romantic script. "In the end, I thought she would kill me, but unexpectedly, she said that as long as I help her cultivate, I could stay in the sect as a servant." Tian Than looked at Dian Matt's distorted face. "Now do you understand?" She began to waver anxiously, thinking, could it really be true about the 4 great villains? Why was the sect master unconscious at that time still a mystery? Could it really be true in the end? She still couldn't believe the story. That's not right. If you really had that kind of relationship, why would the sect master be so indifferent to you? Tian Than said, "Isn't that just a performance for outsiders? How could we openly reveal such a thing?" Tian Than suddenly approached Dian Matt, speaking maliciously. "As for you plotting against me, just wait until sect master sister finishes her cultivation. Then you'll see he had officially turned the situation around. If there's nothing else, you won't live for more than a few days this time." Truly frightened Dian Matt. Her face turned pale. Could it be that he really is the sect master's lover? The more Tian Than spoke, the more spirited he became. He pretended to say, "But looking at these past few days, you still have one last chance now. Do you know who is the chicken and who is the grain?" Dian Matt was so scared that tears welled up in her eyes. It was supposed to be me threatening him. How did it end up like this? Furious, Dian Matt pushed Tian Than away and staggered out of the prison. Von Hai Tin Quan had no idea what his disciple was planning. "Little divine one, what are you plotting?" Tian Than replied. "If I'm not mistaken, sect master sister doesn't believe her words at all." The sound of footsteps came from outside, seeing the long legs. Tian Than was suspicious. She came back unexpectedly. This person would come looking for me after a few days wherever Dian Matt went. She was met with jealousy. Have you heard about it? But as she quickly walked past, everyone immediately fell silent. There was definitely some kind of incident, Dian Matt pondered. She went to find the ancestral hall but was refused. "It's closed today. Go back." Dian Matt glanced inside the hall. There was clearly someone in there. What exactly happened? Dian Matt wandered into the forest feeling uneasy. She worriedly thought, why is everyone acting so strangely? Could it be that everything he said is true? Suddenly, someone rushed in, covering her mouth and dragging her away. It turned out to be Tian Than. He whispered, "Don't make a sound. It's me." Dian Matt was horrified. "It's him. Has he been released already? What kind of scheme is this?" Tian Than spoke up quickly. "Follow me." Tian Than led her to a courtyard. It was Van Lin's residence. He used a privileged spirit stone to open the door. Dian Matt became more convinced that Tian Than was the sect master's lover. This was the spirit stone used to open the sect master's room, and he had it. Dian Than remained mysterious. Dian Matt hurriedly asked, "What exactly do you want to do?" Dian Than coldly raised his hand and lifted the curtain. Inside was the female sect master, lying weakly, barely breathing. Dian Than anxiously grabbed Dian Matt, "Hurry, and save sect master." Sister Dian Matt still didn't understand what was going on. "What did you do to the sect master?" Dian Than appeared panicked and confused, saying, "I didn't do anything just now. Sect master's sister called me out to practice," then suddenly fainted. Dian Matt immediately approached the bed to check the pulse, but as soon as she touched it, she knew that this rescue attempt was hopeless. The pulse had already weakened to this extent. She suddenly thought of something. "Does anyone else know about this?" Dian Than shook his head sarcastically, saying, "I haven't told anyone about the intimate matter yet. Maybe you're the one with the most experience." Dian Matt's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. She angrily thought, "Why does this sentence sound like it's insulting me?" Dian Matt suddenly turned 180 degrees. "But why should I save her now she has revealed her true, wicked nature?" Dian Than pretended to be surprised and confused. "What do you mean?" Dian Matt burst out laughing, her voice wicked, as she said, "Could it be that you still don't know the real situation within the sect?" Back then, Van Lin Thuong was just the direct disciple of the previous sect master. Aside from the former sect master, the person with the most authority in the sect was the Great Elder. But when the sect master position changed, the Great Elder suddenly disappeared, and by the time she returned, the new sect master had already been decided. That day, when the Great Elder returned in a withered state, she was horrified to discover something. Van Lin Thuong had climbed to the position of sect master and had kicked the Great Elder down to the chicken coop. In recent years, because of this matter, the two of them have remained secretly at odds. Therefore, it makes sense that Van Lin Thuong is on the brink of death. Now, if she dies, everything will fall into place. Dian Matt glanced at the weakened Van Lin Thuong, realizing that once she passes away, the Great Elder will naturally take the position of sect master. Now she can no longer say anything. "You still don't know. Do you actually? I am one of the Great Elder's people. You fool." Dian Than seemed to be waiting for this statement. He smiled with a hint of intrigue. "So that's how it is, truly an unexpected gain." Dian Matt, without a moment of hesitation, immediately unleashed thunder submission. Dozens of tendrils sprouted from the ground, tightly wrapping around Dian Than. "What are you planning to do?" She still hadn't escaped her evil thoughts, sticking out her snake-like tongue. After all, she was about to die anyway, so it would be a waste not to take advantage of his flawless body. Dian Than, being tightly restrained, spoke in pain. "You are crazy. The sect master sister is still here. Do you really intend to play the hacker game right in front of the boss?" Dian Matt spoke in a depraved manner for the Great Elder's plan. "I have endured her for a long time. It seems she has reached the final stage of degeneration. Only doing it in front of her can truly satisfy her." Suddenly, from behind the curtain, a familiar aura emerged. Dian Matt's face turned as pale as a sheet, trembling as she called out. Sect Master Van Lin Thuong stepped forward, holding a longsword. The first words she spoke were, "You truly disappoint me." Right in front, she slashed the tendrils to save Dian Than. He casually dusted off his sleeves. Unexpected, isn't it? Dian Than rubbed his wrist with a smug expression, recounting that day. "Right after you left, the sect master's sister came looking for me. So it turns out that everything you did before had already made the sect master's sister suspicious for a long time, just without concrete evidence. That's why I told this plan to the sect master sister, and then we staged a performance. After learning the truth, Dian Matt went completely mad, so it was all because of you. I must kill you." Before she could take action, Dian Matt was already taken to the island. At the same time, news quickly came from the Great Elder's side. Something had gone wrong with the Great Elder. After hearing the story from that side, she was so furious that she gritted her teeth, unable to believe that the plan they had prepared for so long was ruined by someone of unknown origin. The hot-tempered female disciple drew her sword. "Let me go eliminate him and avenge senior sister." The Great Elder Cao Min, who was more composed than her, spoke up. "Wait." At the same time, in Dian Than's courtyard, he sneezed dozens of times in a row. After several exhausting days battling wits with women, Dian Than was lying on the bed recovering. Why did he keep feeling like someone was mentioning him? A female disciple rushed in anxiously. Sect master, there is an urgent matter. Please come quickly. Tian was invited to a luxurious room not long after the important figure arrived. It was a beautiful woman whom Tian had never met before. She softly said, "I have been waiting for a long time." The female disciple behind quickly introduced, "This is the great elder of the Few Mu sect." Hearing this name, Tian expression immediately darkened, so it was the sect master sister's rival coming to the door. This is not good. The great elder displayed an understanding and reasonable demeanor. I heard that the young master had some misunderstandings about me before, so I could only use this method to meet my apologies. Tian had remained cautious from the beginning, not knowing what the great elder wanted to say. The great elder waved her hand, signaling for the beautiful woman to bring forth a precious bottle of medicine. Seeing Tian dazed, the great elder explained, "This is the Ngungqi Dan. It can help absorb the fragrance of the spirit, very beneficial for your condensation cultivation." "Why so suddenly kind?" Tian immediately turned around and said, "I cannot accept favors without merit. Please take it back." Great elder hearing this, the great elder chuckled. "How could it be said that you have no merit? When you managed to drive away the 4 great villains, it is well deserved." The seductive woman looked at him with moist, longing eyes. Ngojiang had admired the young master for a long time, and wished to serve him. The great elder moved in excessively close, speaking bluntly. "Furthermore, I also wish to establish connections with the young master." Tian partly guessed their intentions. They wanted to offer both the person and the medicine to win him over, knowing he shouldn't act impulsively. Tian then smiled foolishly. "I am merely a humble servant in the sect. I dare not be arrogant." The great elder seemed to have anticipated this. She spoke with a cunning gaze. "If the young master has not thought it through yet, then please go back and consider it further." Tian gently left, just like that, the female disciple beside him eager to deal with. Tian said, "Great elder, are you just going to let him go like that? Do you need me to?" The great elder had already made her calculations. She spoke with great anticipation. "Rest assured, it won't be long before he comes begging to me." Tian of course also found this situation too strange. Just letting him go like that. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Tian felt as if he were submerged in a woman's fragrance. Another woman bumped into him, not knowing whether it was intentional or accidental. Tian hurriedly caught her. "Are you all right?" he asked. She apologized and quickly walked away. Women are truly hard to understand, Tian thought skeptically. What a strange person after a day of mind games with the great elder's faction. Tian sighed in relief, finally making it back. Tian without thinking, drank the cup of tea in one gulp. Vonai Chan Quan grew suspicious. Something's not right. Someone just entered this room. When Vonai Chan Quan realized something was wrong, he hurriedly shouted, "Little Than Tu, don't drink," but it was too late. On the other side, someone had already taken action. She used 2 bone-colored objects to strike each other, activating the formation. It was the great elder. She had tampered with Tian's body. A type of poisonous insect crawled out. Tian felt his body changing. His face turned pale. The teacup in his hand fell to the ground and shattered. The poisonous insect had been placed in. The Tian, just by sitting still, was already affected. Vonai Chan Quan immediately started to administer first aid to Tian. A strange tattoo appeared on his chest. It was the mark of the bloodthirsty spider. This creature lives in pairs, feeding on blood and flesh, until death stops it. The only way to resolve this is to use another twin spider to lure it out. The spider on Tian's chest is getting fatter. Vonai Chan Quan anxiously said, "No, this won't work." He immediately stopped, tense and calculating, knowing that if he couldn't kill it instantly, it might harm Tian too. Thinking that Tian had crossed the Naiha bridge, he suddenly opened his eyes and abruptly sat up, coughing violently and looking miserable. "Tian too, what's wrong with you?" His coughing grew increasingly severe, until at last he coughed up a spider. His face turned extremely pale, and then he fainted. Vonai Chan Quan had never seen such a phenomenon before. The Huyat Kat Chu came out on its own. The spider looked miserable, as if it were the real victim. A few seconds later it started foaming at the mouth and then fainted. Vonai Chan Quan picked up the spider and observed it carefully, murmuring to himself, Could it be that the flesh and blood of the little divine child are special? This spider intended to devour the flesh and blood, but instead was countered and fled. A moment later, Tian Than groggily got up, wondering what had just happened. Vonai Chan Quan pretended to be a ghost, scaring the young boy for a moment. Little divine child, I didn't expect you to come to accompany your master so quickly. He played the role of a wandering spirit pretending to be a ghost, then whispered, "Come here so that your master can cherish you." Tian Than couldn't take it anymore. "Master, you're being too childish. What are you doing?" Vonai Chan Quan immediately dropped the act, holding up the spider proudly. "This thing just spun around inside your body." Tian Than looked in horror at the ugly insect, while Vonai Chan Quan continued, "I wonder how effective it would be to use this spider to refine medicine." The bloodthirsty spider began to transform, and in the blink of an eye, it underwent reverse aging, returning to its egg form. According to legend, when a bloodthirsty spider senses mortal danger, it reverts to its egg state. Could it be that just mentioning refining medicine made it understand? Vonai Chan Quan didn't think much further, placing the egg into a vial and saying, "Anyway, the great elder has already set his sights on you, so what do you plan to do now?" Tian Than didn't seem too surprised, calculating in his mind, "Although this time I've safely gotten through it, she will definitely cause trouble for me again. I might as well go directly to the Great Elder's main hall." The scene shifts to the Great Elder's main hall. She smirked triumphantly and said it seems that this time the young master has finally figured it out. Tian Than keenly noticed a familiar face standing next to the Great Elder. As soon as she saw Tian Than, she avoided his gaze, looking visibly guilty. Tian Than searched his memories, and the image of the strange woman who had bumped into him that day resurfaced. At that moment, he was completely certain the mastermind was you, furious. He grabbed her collar, almost shouting, "It seems I never really had a choice." The Great Elder remained calm, casually observing. She pretended to speak. "Young master, rest assured I only wish to befriend us. I have no intention of causing you any harm." Tian Than had already uncovered her devious plot. He shouted, "Stop pretending. Tell me, what do you want me to do?" The Great Elder waved her hand, signaling her subordinates, then said slowly, "I want you to become as close as possible with the sect leader's elder sister." Tian Than's eyes widened in shock, and he could barely hold back. The Great Elder appeared harmless, and with a smile she said, "Surely, young master, you wouldn't refuse such a simple request, would you?" Tian Than lowered his head coldly and said, "You want to use me as a spy to compete for the position of sect leader, don't you?" The Great Elder heard this and flashed a confident smile. Her gaze suddenly turned vacant as she said, "Young master, you've misunderstood. We're doing this because of Fiu Mu sect." Tian Than was surprised as the Great Elder began recounting the story of many years ago when Fiu Mu sect was not yet a forbidden territory back then. The sect had thousands of male and female disciples. The sect leader had a direct disciple, a young man whom she cherished greatly. Van Lin would often stand by the window watching him every day, unable to control her feelings. However, little did she know he was a fraud. He taught Van Lin a painful lesson. He exploited the sect leader's trust to steal all the precious books and treasures of the sect. From that moment on, Van Lin became a woman who despised men. The sect leader, enraged, expelled all the male disciples from the sect, and from that point on, no more male disciples were accepted. But because of this, Fiu Mu sect lost many talents, and with too many enemies, it gradually declined. Upon hearing this, Tian Than understood her plan. "So your goal is to have me help the sect leader's elder sister resolve the emotional grudge, then recruit talented individuals from across the world to restore the sect's power." A brilliant glow suddenly radiated from around the Great Elder. "Indeed, I am the Great Elder. I cannot stand to see the sect continue to decline, even if it means using any means necessary. Even if the world curses me, I will have no regrets." Tian Than was moved to tears, not expecting the Great Elder to sacrifice so much for the greater good. "I admire you. Keep going. Let's see what she plans next." As he knelt on the ground, the Great Elder continued, "Young master, do you wish to help me?" Tian Than pretended to be innocent, scratching his head and saying, "It's just that the sect leader's elder sister still has some unresolved issues with me, I'm afraid." The Great Elder interrupted. "Young master, you only need to act normally. I will arrange for someone to assist you. Moreover, this is a taboo of the sect, so I ask that you keep it strictly confidential." Tian Than felt a bit tense, but agreed for the time being. Meanwhile, in a desolate area, a young girl was being bullied by others. Why is it only like this? Have you already eaten? The young girl didn't know how to explain, so she could only continuously deny it's not like that. This scene caught Tianthan's attention, and he was surprised to recognize her. She was the same girl who had saved him and brought him back to Fu Sect when his real body had fainted by the roadside. It was also thanks to her that she had persistently cared for his real body day and night. Seeing the two women angrily scolding and cursing, Tianthan couldn't help but feel concerned. After all, she was the one who had helped him. It seemed like she was in trouble. At this moment, a pet of unknown origin suddenly jumped out its mouth incessantly, calling out Dan Dan. The young girl was frightened to the point of nearly urinating in her pants. She scolded. Dan Dan, why did you run out here quickly? Go back. The aggressive woman, seeing this situation, shouted loudly, Very good. You have brought all of our medicinal pills to this useless trash. That Dan Dan. Its mouth was also quite sharp. It rushed forward and cursed back. The fierce woman became enraged. She mobilized her spirit energy, shouting, You dare threaten me, die. The situation became extremely terrible. Tianthan thought it's over. Her one move struck down. But Tianthan quickly launched a counterattack, and the young girl thought she was done for. She slowly opened her eyes and saw that the meatball Dan Dan was still safe and sound. The scene of a hero rescuing a damsel in distress replayed. Tianthan smiled and asked, Are you all right? The young woman also recognized Tianthan. She thought to herself, It's the injured young master from before the two fierce women were interrupted, and very much wanted to attack. Tianthan looked at the woman who was tightly clutching two medicinal pills. Guessing that perhaps everything was caused by the medicinal pills, the timid young woman urged. Tianthan, quickly run, young master, hurry and leave. If senior sister truly becomes enraged, it will be very troublesome. This time, Tianthan wanted to repay the kindness. He smiled reassuringly. Don't worry. I'm not afraid of trouble. The woman looked at him and immediately felt displeased, asking, What does this have to do with you? Why are you being so enthusiastic? Or is there something shady going on between you two? Tianthan let out a disdainful laugh. Is that so? The young woman behind him hurriedly explained. That's not it at all. Tianthan repeated his old trick cunningly, saying, I once saved your sect leader. According to your logic, could it be that I and your sect leader also? That woman did not expect Tianthan to be so impolite. She snapped, Shut your mouth. Don't force others to speak. Tianthan decided to use the trick of tattling, forcing the others to speak. Or should I go report this matter to your sect leader and let her decide? The two women immediately fell silent like clams. They were so angry their eyes seemed to spark, but they couldn't do anything. Looking at the innocent face of the young woman made them even angrier. This time you got lucky. She finally relented and left. However, Tianthan was now very free. He coldly said, It seems I haven't allowed you to leave. Yet the woman was so angry that veins popped out on her forehead. She stepped closer and asked, What exactly do you want? Give what's in your hands to her and then apologize. The woman felt deeply humiliated, thinking, He's just a piece of trash. Don't think I wouldn't dare to teach you a lesson. Tianthan, at the first level of the condensation realm, was ready to fight desperately useless trash. How would you know? Don't you know that casually giving others nicknames is very impolite? The more timid woman behind her whispered to her senior sister, He has a special identity. If there's a big commotion, we might suffer. The fierce woman from just now suddenly softened. She knew she shouldn't provoke important figures. Her spiritual energy instantly dissipated. Why are you suddenly so scared? Finally, she actually took out spirit stones and apologized. The young woman breathed a sigh of relief. The little girl politely bowed her head and said, Thank you, young master. Tianthan quickly helped her up, saying, You are the understanding one. The person who should be saying thank you is me. If you hadn't pulled me back, then I probably would have ended up in the belly of a beast by now. Tianthan began to ask some basic polite questions. Oh right, may I ask for the young lady's name? You can just call me Lu Lai. Indeed, a name as beautiful as the person. Tianthan spontaneously composed a poem, activating his flirting mode with ice as bones and Jade as her appearance, the immortal. Jade resembles her figure gazing at her. One cannot see enough truly worthy to be compared. Jade countenance, indeed, a beautiful name. Tianthan also took the opportunity to introduce himself. You also don't need to keep calling me young master. It sounds unfamiliar. My name is Dian Than. Dian Than seemed very reasonable, and Dan pounced towards him, looking at the round talking meatball. Dian Than was so scared, he broke out in a cold sweat. Dan, don't be naughty, he said, but also found it soft and quite cute. Dian Than happily wondered, what is this new toy? What kind of small creature is it? Recalling one day by the lake, Lu Li was focused on her cultivation. The other side of the shore suddenly transmitted a strange sound, and in the lake, some creature was stirring up the water after a while. The meatball. Dan leaped out of the lake and then fainted, so all the medicinal pills from before she had given them to Dan to heal its injuries, Lu Li lovingly embraced Dan. The pure little girl had a loving heart for animals. At that time, Dan was too severely injured. I could only try every possible method. Dian Than watched the scene of Lu Li and the meatball playing, and he thought of his family and the innocent children. Tin Quan's appearance pulled him back to the harsh reality, a small body with newly healed wounds. Why don't you feel any pity anymore? Dan suddenly twitched and gestured to Lu Li. Lu Li looked towards the distant tower and suddenly noticed that the sun had set. Lu Li carrying Dan. Dan ran off saying, "Young master, I have some urgent business and must leave." First, Lu Li returned to the courtyard with trepidation and pushed open the door, thinking master is probably angry. Just as the door opened, dozens of crystal arrows shot out from inside. Lu Li instantly went into a defensive stance, as if she had transformed into a different person. Lu Li still activated her spirit energy and then unleashed a counterattack. Facing those crystal arrows in the blink of an eye, the crystal pile revealed its true form as a harmless pile of leaves from within the courtyard. Lu Li's master coldly stepped out. It was none other than the female sect leader Van Lien. "It seems these past few days, you haven't been slacking in your cultivation." Lu Li looked at that foolish face, realizing it was actually at the 9th level of the condensation realm, the so-called master. Van Lien Thuong suddenly changed the subject. She asked seriously, "Have you used the few cultivation-assisting medicinal pills I gave you before?" Lu Li stammered. "Yes, I've used them." Van Lien Thuong looked directly into the little girl's eyes. Written clearly on Lu Li's face were the 3 words, "I am lying." Van Lien Thuong fondly flicked her forehead, saying, "Every time you lie, your face becomes even redder, and you unconsciously clench your fingers together. As far as I know, the medicinal pills have probably all been snatched away by your senior sisters." Lu Li immediately acted like a 3-year-old child, shouting embarrassedly, "It has nothing to do with the senior sisters. I gave them away willingly." Van Lien Thuong never understood this child. "You even plead for them clearly. Your cultivation is higher than theirs. Why don't you resist?" Lu Li's answer stunned Van Lien Thuong, but the senior sisters are all family. Lu Li couldn't bear to see family members get hurt. Hearing those 3 words, Van Lien Thuong felt as if a full moon had risen in her heart. One family. Memories of that autumn flooded back the days when her parents were still by her side. Van Lien Thuong suddenly lowered her head, her hands clenching Lu Li's sleeves with a heart-wrenching pain like burning fire. Lu Li panicked and said, "Master, what's wrong? Did Lu Li say something wrong?" Van Lien Thuong rubbed her temples as if struck by a hammer. "It's nothing," elder sister suddenly remembered. "Some unhappy memories. You help me with something, okay?" The little girl eagerly awaited the task elder sister would assign a few days later in Dian Than's courtyard. He was leisurely sipping tea, watching the clouds, and lost in thought. These past few days, he hadn't been able to see the sect leader's elder sister. Dian Than suddenly felt abandoned, as if she was deliberately avoiding him. While leisurely drinking tea, someone burst in through the window. Dian Than reacted swiftly, flying backward and managing to save his life. The sword from just now had sliced through the table. That person seemed to intentionally let Dian Than see them, and Dian Than immediately gave chase, pursuing them deep into the forest. Dian Than noticed the assassin's clumsy movements, and immediately guessed that this person seemed to be deliberately leading him to a certain place. Dian Than was led to the sect's barrier area, deliberately guided to the path leading outside, and just then a crack appeared in the barrier. Without much thought, Dian Than saw through the plan. It seemed they wanted him to leave the Fiu Mu sect. Could the assassin be hiding in the bushes? He had never seen such an unprofessional assassin. Why did they stop? "Master instructed me to bring the young master out of the sect. I have no choice but to offend him one more time." As soon as she finished speaking, she attacked from behind Dian Matt temporarily and silently observed the assassin's attack methods. Although this person's attacks weren't yet powerful, they skillfully avoided vital points. At this moment, the barrier had cracked open a large section. Dian Matt pretended to slip and rolled outside before falling to the ground. He even acted the part of a lovesick man, saying, "Whatever you do, even if I turn to ashes, I will absolutely not leave sect, leader, elder, sister." The sword that was thrusting forward immediately stopped. Just as Dian Matt had predicted, the assassin was indeed not skilled in martial arts. She looked at Dian Matt with tearful eyes, thinking, "I didn't expect young Master Dian Matt to be so devoted and righteous. What should I do now?" Taking advantage of the opportunity, Dian Matt immediately turned the tables and counterattacked. The mask was torn off. Dian Matt was horrified to discover it was the little fool Lu Li. Just as he was about to say something, a dignified voice echoed from afar. "What are the two of you doing gathering here in the sect's important barrier area? Isn't this too much of a coincidence? The person who spoke was the Grand Elder, arriving just in time. Could this be a trap set by that old witch?" She commanded a group of disciples to rush forward. "Seize them for me." The situation became increasingly tense, and yet another important figure appeared, shouting, "Stop." It was the female sect leader Van Lin Thuong, arriving on her sword to join the commotion. She immediately spoke up to defuse the situation, saying with delight, "This was just a test that this sect leader asked Liar to arrange. Now it seems this sect leader has overthought things." The Grand Elder turned towards the only man present, saying, "Even so, allowing him to stay isn't a violation of the sect's rules." The Grand Elder suddenly revealed a strange smile, causing Dian Matt to immediately imagine a scene of himself being castrated and then forced to wear a dress. Why would you treat me like that?" The Grand Elder drew her sword and said sternly, "Unless we sever the male appendage on his body, it will violate the sect's rules." Unexpectedly, the day would come when his little brother would be chopped off. Dian Matt was so scared his soul scattered. "No, no, don't come closer." Dian Matt trembled, crying out in despair, "Didn't you say before you wouldn't touch me?" The Grand Elder whispered, "The greater good is more important. Please bear with it for a moment, young master." Dian Matt was practically going crazy. "How can I endure this? Endure your mother." Dian Matt tried his best to remain calm. He thought to himself, "But I can't reveal my true intentions to that old witch. Yet I can only think of a way to act my way through this situation." Dian Matt's greatest strength was still acting. He quickly entered character sect leader, elder sister. "Things have come to this point, and I don't want to make things difficult for you either." Dian then circulated his spiritual energy and said with imposing grandeur, "But this body was given to me by my parents. How can I so easily give it up? Give it—" "Oh, ho, ho," the Grand Elder said with interest. "You want to risk your life, even though you're only at the first level of the condensation realm. You're quite brave." Dian Matt portrayed the demeanor of a frail man, saying unexpectedly, "I dedicated my whole heart to the sect, but in the end, I've brought about this outcome." He looked towards the void with righteous anger. The emotions from just now touched everyone's hearts. "I heard that when the sect leader was trapped, before it was him who drove away the 4 great villains and saved the sect leader. Also, the secret realm was discovered thanks to him." Dian Matt felt he had successfully controlled the situation. It seems to be working as expected. The old witch, the Grand Elder holding her sword, rushed forward, wanting to kill Dian Matt. "If you are so determined to die, then let me lend you a hand. This is beyond the script." Dian Matt jumped up. "Is this for real?" In that critical instant, with 1,000 pounds hanging by a thread, Van Lin Thuong swiftly cast a barrier, shielding Dian Matt's sect leader. Van Lin Thuong was very principled. She presented the matter clearly, stating that the judgment needed to be distinct, and the crime of intruding into the sect had already been punished through the task of doing chores. She tossed Dian Matt a token, saying, "But since you have contributed to protecting the sect from now on, you will stay here as an official disciple." The Grand Elder was incredulous that Van Lin Thuong would do such a thing. This person's origins are unclear. What if something happens later? Van Lin Thuong said decisively, "If it is someone brought into the sect by this sect leader, then I will take responsibility for whatever happens." Dian Matt took the token in his hand, thinking to himself, "So the old witch wants to use me to punish sect leader elder sister." The Grand Elder turned and left her attitude somewhat unusual. It seems the sect leader has already decided, so I will take my leave. Sure enough, she had been plotting something beforehand. The Grand Elder revealed a knowing smile after everyone had left. Thien Than bowed his head to thank the sect leader elder sister for her help. Van Lien Thuong didn't even bother to glance at him, turning and leaving. Thien Than felt a pang of sadness. Women are so hard to understand. She just sacrificed herself to save me, and now she's become so cold so quickly. Lu Li walked over with tearful eyes. She stammered, "Young Master Thien Than, actually this time it was Master's intention for you to leave the sect. It's because Lu Li worked too slowly." Thien Than watched the sect leader's retreating figure, thinking contentedly. It seems sect leader elder sister is cold on the outside but still very adorable on the inside. Van Lin Thuong scolded Lu Li, "Still have time to dawdle. How far have you practiced the cultivation method I taught you last time?" Lu Li understood and picked up Dan. Dan, to follow the adorable little meatball, even said a goodbye. Thien Than clenched his resolve and muttered to himself, "Sect leader elder sister, don't worry. I won't let anyone take advantage of you." Vonai Ting Quan, who had appeared without anyone noticing, began to doubt his own existence. It was as if Thien Than could sense his presence. In the quiet forest at midnight, a deer was intently grazing on the grass scattered around it, were colorful fruits lying on the ground. The naive deer moved closer to pick up the fruits, unaware that a cruel hunter was lying in ambush from behind. Early the next morning, several female disciples discovered the deer's corpse. Yet another spirit beast had died. Moreover, just like the previous ones, its entire body had been drained of blood. Truly cruel. A group of people stood there worried and uneasy, not knowing whether to roast or stew it. Every day Thien Than would hide behind a tree to secretly observe eavesdropping on a few conversations. He couldn't help but feel worried recently. Many spirit beasts had suddenly died within the sect, and it was highly likely related to that old witch. But what could her purpose be? Could it be that the hypothesis was correct? Previously, the master had mentioned that after being parasitized by the bloodthirsty spider, one would develop a peculiar craving for fresh blood. Thien Than had seen through the cunning intention of the Grand Elder, so the old witch wanted to use this trick to frame him. Thien Than met the trusted subordinate of the Great Elder. A bold idea suddenly popped into his mind. "Master, the last time you encountered the blood vermilion, didn't you? That thing is very dangerous. What do you want it for?" A tough nut to crack meets a sharp claw. Thien Than began to scheme a tiger that doesn't roar, shouldn't be mistaken for Hello Kitty. Of course she would use her own way to harm her in return. A few days later, at the main hall of the sect leader Van Lin, as usual, there were people outside wanting to meet the sect leader. But when asked, the reply was, "He is in cultivation, not to be disturbed." The Great Elder didn't care about these trivial matters. She flung the door open and stormed in. "Move aside. I have urgent business." She went straight to find the sect leader despite her rude attitude. Van Lin, as usual, remained unfazed, his expression unchanged in the face of such arrogance. She opened her cold, graceful eyes and spoke with authority. "What is it?" The Great Elder was taken aback, as if splashed with boiling water, and jumped up. "Recently, the spirit beasts in the sect have been dying one after another. After investigating, it was discovered that the culprit is none other than the disciple Thien Than, whom the sect leader personally brought in." The Great Elder spoke mysteriously, adding in a more frightening tone, "What's worse, he is hiding an identity. He is the blood vermilion demon, a being that has turned into a spirit, as the legends say." Van Lin, too lazy to even stand up, gently uttered 4 words, "Do you have evidence?" At that moment, a female disciple hurriedly ran in. "Sect leader, it's not good." She blurted out shocking news. Just now on the mountain, several disciple corpses were found, their condition exactly the same as the spirit beasts killed before. To everyone's surprise, the target has shifted to humans. Now Van Lin, startled, exclaimed, "What is this?" "It's exactly according to the Great Elder's plan." She exerted pressure. "It's a pity that beast is no longer satisfied with the blood of spirit beasts. It has begun to target humans. Sect leader, please join me in resolving this matter quickly." To clarify the truth, Thien Than, who had been leisurely chilling in the early morning, wondered, "Why are so many people looking for me?" Van Lin arrived first and she went straight to the point. "I happen to have something to ask recently." Her gaze stopped on Thien Than's right arm, which was drenched in blood. Van Lin's eyes widened in shock as she asked what happened to the blood on your hand. Thien Than appeared very flustered. He avoided the question, saying, "Oh, while practicing swordplay. I accidentally cut my hand, that's all." The great elder also came to join the commotion. She pointed her sword at Thien Than's face, scolding, "You still want to pretend how much longer, blood demon?" Thien Than played dumb. He shouted loudly, "Blood? What blood demon? What is that? I don't understand. Even making up a new identity for me, old witch. You want me dead without giving me a chance to clear my name." The great elder thought she had completely won. She calculated that he had been parasitized by the blood vermilion. Now just a bit of fresh blood would be enough to trigger it. However, the cunning old witch noticed something was wrong. Wait a minute on his hand. There was clearly blood. Why was there no reaction? The one who reacted instead was the female disciple standing behind her. The gaze of that female disciple became bloodthirsty. What is happening? Why do I suddenly feel so excited? Thinking back to that day in the forest, the female disciple calculated that with so many spirit beasts dying, it should be enough to draw attention now. Just need to. Suddenly a force came from behind. She turned around cautiously. It turned out to be Thien Than looking innocent. He blinked and said, "Sister Dian Han, I have a few words to say." He pulled Dian Han to sit on a stone nearby drinking wine. Seeing in Thien Than's eyes was filled with love, she imagined. So it turns out this person likes me, deliberately cooperating with the great elder to get close to me. But Thien Than is too handsome and charming. This face is not bad at all. It's just a pity that suddenly Thien Than grabbed her hands and feet. She was taken aback. Unexpectedly, Sister Dian Han also has feelings for me. How about we leave the sect together in the future? Live a carefree and worry-free life. Dian Han was also captivated by his beauty. Everything followed the young master's words, she thought. After all, he wouldn't live long, might as well agree for now. Sure enough, she couldn't resist the charm of Thien Than. He continued, "According to the customs of my hometown, when two people are in love, they can use wine to seal a promise of 100 years. As predicted, Dian Han drank it all in one go. Thien Than smiled triumphantly. Being handsome indeed has its advantages. Back to the present. Dian Han realized she had fallen into a trap. It was over. The wine definitely had something wrong with it. Thien Than even purposely flaunted his hand covered in blood. It seemed the wound had started bleeding again. Dian Han had started to lose control. She excitedly thought, "I can't take it anymore. I want to devour him," and without hesitation she lunged forward like a bloodthirsty zombie. Van Lin acted faster, using her longsword to strike and block her path. She glanced over and quietly asked, "Are you all right?" Thien Than, quite pleased, replied, "I'm fine. It seems the sect leader sister really cares about me, prioritizing my protection at this moment." Dian Han had completely transformed. Van Lin, raising her voice, said, "Is this the blood vermilion demon you spoke of? How could it be, great elder? I didn't expect things to turn out this way. It's clearly him. He's been infected by the blood vermilion. Why is this happening?" Dian Han had completely lost her mind. "Stop me, die." Van Lin for the moment didn't want to end her life, thinking that there might be more to the story. She decided to control her. Van Lin, remaining calm, didn't act hastily, thinking that perhaps she could uncover the mastermind behind this. In an instant, the entire main hall seemed to fall into the Arctic. Why was it suddenly so cold? Van Lin seemed to transform into the Ice Queen, with snow covering everything around. Dian Han was frozen in place, literally. She returned to her normal state, panicked, and said, "Why have I become like this?" Even Thien Than couldn't hide his surprise. She's normal again. Vo Nai Ting Quan explained the blood vermilion demon is very sensitive to cold. In a cold environment, it can temporarily suppress their actions, causing the host to regain temporary clarity. The great elder was the most nervous at this moment. No, if it regains its sanity, I'm afraid it will. She launched the decisive blow, had to send off her most trusted disciple like this. Don't blame the master for being heartless. Van Lin quickly stepped forward to interrogate Dian Han. "I'll ask you, were the strange events in the sect these past few days caused by you?" Dian Han, terrified, didn't know what to say. Stammering sect leader. At that moment, an arrow pierced through her heart.